Okay, hello, everyone. You should be able to see my screen. I'm just at the login screen right now. And you also should be able to hear me. If you can hear and see my screen, someone please type into the chat if that is the case, so I know that we are okay to proceed. All right, good deal. Thank you, Taylor. We only have a few of you in the class today. So what I'm going to do here is, if you have a question, number one, you can type it into the chat. Also, if you have something where you want to, ask, if you raise your hand, there's a little hand icon you can click on, and I will unmute you and allow you to talk. I would unmute everybody at once, but inevitably there will be all kinds of crazy background noise because that's what happens. So, but if you want to ask a question, either type it into the chat, and I'm happy to answer it. I'll be watching the chat, or like I said, there's a little hand raise button, and I will unmute you and let you ask your question if you want to do it that way. This is Intro to MLS. This is required for all new members. So at the end of this class that will complete your intro training, we'll update your account automatically. Is there anybody that's having any login issues before I even continue? Like, can everybody log into the system? For those of you that are not quite sure how to log in or you have not yet done so, okay, good. Looks like everyone's okay. This website here, this login screen, this can be directly accessed by going to now.mlsmatrix.com. See this here? Now.mlsmatrix.com. And I will type that into the chat too if you want to save it. That is a direct link. Not.mlsmatrix.com. That is a direct link to the login screen. The reason that I tell you that is because sometimes agents will have trouble logging on. What a lot of agents do is they will come to our company site. So it looks like this here. This is mlsnow.com. See, mlsnow.com. This is different than our login screen. This is our company. This is MLS Now's company site. Okay, so there's things here like our class schedule. Under education tab, we have a class schedule. We have a quick support if you ever need help. We can log on and watch, operate your screen or watch you operate as we help you. There's some membership forms here. There are stats that you can access that come from the state and from the MLS, some fast stats, MLS Now stats. So this is our company site, not the database, right? But there is a login button here, okay? And a lot of agents will come here and click login. But the reason I like to give you that direct login that I just gave you is because if our company site is down for any reason, that doesn't mean you can't log in. That just means that our company site's down. But go ahead and go to now.mlsmatrix.com and you will access our login screen, okay? Hopefully that's helpful. So save that one, bookmark it, top right corner, you can bookmark a page, all right? Bookmark whatever you need to bookmark. Okay, good. So with that being said, let's go ahead and log in. Type your ID and your password. If anybody for any reason is unable to log in, go ahead and give us a call. We will be happy to assist you. Actually, let me type in the help number here into the chat as well. If at any point you have a question or you're having trouble, go ahead and just give that number a call there, and we will be happy to assist you with whatever it is that you need help with. Okay, so once you enter your credentials, let me blow this up a little bit, you will land at what we call the dashboard. Okay, the dashboard. Now, this is not our database. This is just the landing page, a dashboard. What you'll see here is all of our member services. So all of these quick links right here in the middle, these are all of our member services. This CoreLogic Matrix one is obviously the database. That's probably where you'll spend most of your time. And we'll talk about the rest of these in a second. But these are basically every program that you have access to. Some of them you have membership access that's included in your MLS membership. Some of them you have to still pay for. Some of them maybe you have to pay for, but you get a discount. We could talk about them as we go. What you'll see here on this dashboard is obviously a pay now button for your balance if you have one. And then there is a edit my profile button here on the left-hand side. Probably a good idea to go here into this edit button here on the left-hand side for your profile and just make sure that your information is correct. We don't care so much about your address. Like, we're never going to mail you any physical mail. It's not a required field, so that doesn't matter. But if you want to put an address there or an office address, you certainly can. What we do care about, though, is your phone number and an email address. Okay, phone and email are required because this is how other agents will communicate with you when they find listings of yours or just want to, communicate with you in general. This is how the MLS communicates with you. So you want to make sure that your phone number and email address are accurate, and you can control this. If you have an email change, just come in here and click, update your email and click the green update button. If you do have a web page that's yours, like danjones.com or something, you can put that here as well, but you don't have to. Okay. So that's how you edit your profile. Here's some help numbers. Again, we're here Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5. That's this top number here, this 216 one that I posted. There are some after hours help, but you're not going to get like input help and rules, questions help. It's just kind of like basic technical support, but you certainly can give it a call if you're having some issues and see if they can help you out. It's not us though. It's not the MLS in terms of like, we have 4 account executives that work in the customer service department. That's who would be answering your call when you call from Monday to Friday, 8:30 to 5. After that, you're going to get a different help desk. Okay, what else? Oh, down below, you have your upcoming classes. So if there's anything that you want to take, maybe you need to take some CE credit, continuing ed, we offer that. CMA, notice how it says offered for Ohio CEU, right? So you can just click the little register button to register. We have other classes that we offer that are not CEU, whether it's, prospecting or realist or whatever. We have a lot of different options there for classes. So that's how you register for those. Okay. All right, let's talk about the what's offered in your membership or what you see here on this dashboard. Okay, we've already talked about this top left one here. This is the database. If I click this, I'm not going to do it just yet, but if I were to click this, it would just launch us directly into the Matrix database. So where we can search for listings, input listings, etc. We have a mobile version of the MLS. That's what this CoreLogic Matrix Mobile is. Maybe this is what you want to use if you're on your phone. You can click that button. It's just designed for a phone mobily, so it could be an option for you. Me personally, even on a phone, I always just use the regular desktop version. I'm just so used to navigating in it, but that's up to you. Realist. Let's talk about Realist for a second. I'm actually going to click into Realist. So I'm going to click Realist. This should be a single sign-on, meaning it takes you right to the Realist platform, which looks like this. If yours does not, you may need to create your accounts, okay? We are not going to spend a ton of time in Realist, but I am going to tell you what it is and just show you a few things. So Realist is our tax program, right? It pulls and aggregates data from all of the auditor sites, other public website, all the publicly available information for any property in Ohio and some of our West Virginia counties in Pennsylvania, so that you can pull that information for that property, right? So this is not a listing database. This is a tax record database. That's what Realist is. It pulls data from all the tax sites. Up at the top left, you'll see here, you can change what county you want to operate in. So if you run a search for something by an owner name and you're not finding it, it's probably because you're not in the right county. So you can click this little change county button and you can select up to 8 counties. Okay. I have Portage right now selected, but let's say I want to add Cuyahoga County and Geauga and Lake. Okay. So I click those and then I'm going to click apply. Okay, now what I can do is, I can just type in an address. This is useful for a lot of different reasons, but let's just say you have a seller who wants to sell a property and you're trying to pull some comps for it. You could type their address in here. I'm going to type 600 Crestview, hit enter. Here is my subject property. It showed up here in my results. It also drops a little pin on the map. And then what I can do is when I click on that, I can go to reports. So two different ways. I can go to report here or reports down at the bottom. And it's going to give me a little, basically a property report for this 600 Crestview that I plugged in. Whoops. I don't know what that is. Let's try this again. Can everybody still hear me okay? My computer just had a little bit of a brain. Okay, sorry about that. I don't know what happened. My computer just fizzled out on me. Okay, so 600 Crestview, and we'll go to search. I'm sorry, I was looking at reports. Okay, so it's going to give us little property reports of this 600 Crestview. It's going to show us all the tax data. Who is the owner? What's the tax information? What's the sale history, the assessments, taxes by year, characteristics of the house, you know, the lot acres, the building square footage. As I scroll down, it's going to give me more of the features of the property, how likely this property is to be listed, or the sell score. That's something that comes from this realist tax program. There's even an estimated value, real AVM, automated value metric. So it tells us what realist thinks this property is worth, and it gives us a little range based on their proprietary algorithm of houses that have sold near it, information about the property, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. If there is any MLS listing data, it will be here under the listing information section. Okay. And then the next tab over, you can see here is the comparables tab. And this is just going to give us some comparables, a very quick way to grab some comparables for this 600 Crestview Drive property. Okay. So I found 20 comps. I'm not going to go too in depth here, but just know that you can adjust how it pulled these comps. You can make it say, hey, I'd rather it show me comps for that were closer to the property. You know, these are a little too far away, or I'd rather it show me comps that are more comparable to the building size, like the square footage, so it matches more closely, right? And you can adjust that with your search criteria. Okay, and you can always print that report. You know, you can print your comp report. There's a print button down here, and so on and so forth. As you can see, you've got a market trends tab, neighbors tab, neighborhood profile tab, the plat map, flood map. So yeah, you've got a lot of good things here in Realist. I'm going to go back one screen. You know, that's not the only way to use Realist. Obviously, there are a million uses for this. You know, this is a good way to potentially generate some leads. There's a way to send labels or mailers, you know, out of here. Very, very useful tool. You have all of the publicly available information about any house in Ohio at your fingertips with this Realist tax program. Okay, so that's Realist. If you want to sign up for a class, you can just sign up for a Realist tax class. I'm going to close that tab and land back at our dashboard. Okay, I'm going to land back at our dashboard. I'm going to talk about showing time next. So what is showing time? Showing time is our showing platform that we use. So when you enter a listing and you want to allow people to schedule showings online, showing time is the platform that that's done in. So when I click on my showing time tab, it's going to launch right into that showing time platform. Okay, here's my profile. I can edit that. If I have any listings, there's a listing setup button where I can see all my listings. And yeah, if you've ever searched for a listing and you've seen the schedule a showing through showing time icon, what will happen is it will launch you right into the showing time platform and ask you to, you know, pick a date and time and have that confirmed. All right, so that's showing time. Now, what's included with your membership is a showing time for the MLS. If you wanted to upgrade that, see how it says my service level is showing time for the MLS? That's just the basic version that comes with your MLS membership. All right, which basically means if you post a listing, it's going to allow agents to schedule listings through showing time for you. All right. If you wanted to upgrade, there's a little upgrade button here under your profile, and you can, choose what upgrade option that you want. You want the showing time appointment center standard plan, and you can see what you get with that. Or do you want to do some type of pricing benchmark add-on? Right? You can see what you get with that. All right, so that's showing time. But the standard basic that comes with your membership included is the showing time for the MLS. All right, I'm going to close that tab. Let's go over to, I want to talk about dot loop and this transactions, also known as zip forms, together. Okay. So basically, these are our electronic signature platforms. Think of it as, all of the documents that you might want to have signed for a transaction can be done electronically using these platforms. So you could have the listing agreement signed electronically, the purchase agreement signed electronically, and maybe some property disclosures or whatever else you would need to have signed electronically can be done through here. Okay. Now, dot loop, for instance, I'll click on dot loop. Again, when you click on yours, I'm already set up with an account, so it's a single sign-on. It just launches me right into my account. For you, you may have to create your account. Just go through the process. Once it realizes that you're tied to MLS Now, it's going to bypass any of the charges or fees it would take to have a dot loop account. Okay. Now, you get 10 free loops with dot loop. Okay, so like right now, you look in the top left corner. I don't have an upgraded version. If I were to click upgrade now, then I would get an option to be billed either monthly or yearly for an unlimited amount of dot loop transactions. Okay. Now, if you don't do that, what happens is you get 10 free loops. So you can see right here, this one is a loop, right? Imagine if you sell 10 houses. And you wanted to have all of your paperwork for each of those transactions stored electronically and signed, you could get 10 of those, and they would each be their own loop. So it'd be like 2, 3, 4, right? You get 10 of those, and then you're done. After that, you need to upgrade. However, all of the forms in the MLS that you would want access to through us, when I say forms, I'm talking about things like a residential listing agreement, residential purchase agreements, land listing agreements, addendums, property disclosure forms, whatever. Those are available to you no matter if you upgrade or not all the time. And that's under the templates tab. See this templates tab up here? And on the left-hand side, we have MLS Now Interactive Documents. MLS Now Interactive Documents. And these are all of the MLS Now interactive documents you have access to. If you don't see this MLS Now interactive documents in your documents section, you need to go to your profile up here and add us as an association. So you'll go to my account and you'll see there's this place where you can add an association. You want to add MLS Now as an association. Okay. All right. So anyways, yeah, all of our forms are in here. See all the different amendments to purchase agreements, amendment to vacant land, COVID-19 buyer acknowledgement of risk, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. FHA addendum. So any form that you would like to use is in here, and this is always available to you, even if you don't use the upgraded version of dot loop. All right, I'm going to close this tab, and that will land me back at the dashboard. Zip Forms is really the same thing. It's a different platform, but same type of deal. It's an electronic signature platform, and our forms are housed on there as well. Okay. Any questions before I move on this top row of quick links here? Going once, going twice. Oh, we have a question. Venus. Okay. Go ahead, Venus. I think you're muted. You can either type it in or you can unmute yourself and ask it. but you're still muted at the moment. No question, Venus? Okay. Then we're going to move on. Okay. The next section here, the second row we'll talk about is Cloud CMA is something that is not included in your membership as part of MLS Now. And basically what this is, it's going to want me to sign in here. This is a way to create like professional looking CMAs. I'm not going to go too far into this. I'm going to show you a number of ways to create CMAs in the system. Actually, I already showed you one in Realist, how you can type a property address in and have it pull that comparable reports for you. So that's already one way. I'll show you a few more inside the system. And this is just another option. You certainly don't have to use it, but it's available to you. A link here. Data co-op. If you click that, this is, what is going on with my computer? Okay. I don't know what's going on with data co-op, so we'll skip that one for now. Basically, data co-op is like, think of it as a combination between the Realist tax program there and your MLS data. DocuSign is exactly what it sounds like. Another type of electronic signature platform. Okay, this one is not quite as tied to the MLS or as robust. For instance, we don't have our library of forms in here. You don't have any type of number of free loops or accounts or transactions with it, but we just have the link to it here in our member services. eProperty Watch is an interesting one. eProperty Watch, number one, when you, again, yours is going to look like this. When you click free trial sign up, it's going to ask you if you're a single agent or agent of a team. But because you're a member of the MLS, if you choose us from this drop-down menu at the top right here, see how it says for accurate pricing, select your MLS. If I were to find in Ohio MLS Now, you'll see that it is free for you as a single agent, $0 a month. Okay, and you can just click get started and then create your account. And basically what eProperty Watch is it's a way to stay in contact with your clients. For instance, you plug their address in. Maybe you just sold somebody a house. You can plug their address in, create them as a client with an email address inside of eProperty Watch, and it will send them updates on, you know, their property and properties in their neighborhood, kind of like what's going on in the area around them. And it's just a way for clients to hear from you without you really doing anything after you set them up with an account and make them a client. Okay, so that's eProperty Watch, and that's how you create your account. Okay, HomeSnap. I highly recommend downloading the HomeSnap app on your phone. HomeSnap is the mobile version of the MLS. Okay, it's the mobile version of the MLS. So basically, if you think about a public portal like a Zillow or a Realtor, that's what HomeSnap is. The big difference, though, is that HomeSnap is what we call the broker public portal, meaning that a number of the largest brokerages and MLSs in the country have partnered to share data on this HomeSnap platform. So when a listing agent enters a listing into the MLS, that listing immediately gets shared with HomeSnap. So when you use HomeSnap, you know that the information and the listing data that you're finding is accurate, okay? Or I should say is at least as accurate as a listing agent enters it, right? But you can know that information is coming directly from the agents, directly from the MLS, and that information can be trusted. Sometimes on Zillow, you know, not all the information is 100% accurate all the time, right? But HomeSnap, because that data is coming from our system, you know that it is. Like I said, this is a nice platform. You have a HomeSnap Pro account that is included in your membership, so there's nothing to pay for here in terms of an upsell. There is a HomeSnap Pro Plus option, which allows you access to a few more features inside of HomeSnap, and also has some advertising tools that go along with it, but we certainly don't, care if you choose to go with that option, and we don't, we don't pitch it, so to say. We're not here to upsell you on that. I don't know why my home snap is not working. I think my computer is having some issues at the moment. Things are not loading, so I do apologize, but we'll get through it. Hopefully, your home snap is looking a little better than mine. If you download the Home Snap app on your phone, okay, so you go to your app store and you search for Home Snap. The icon looks just like this. It's a little blue house inside of a square. The first time you download it and you want to create your account, it will ask you to confirm your identity. That's yourself. Confirm your MLS. That's us. And then if you do that, you will automatically have a Home Snap Pro account. The nice thing about Home Snap is, besides its really user-friendly platform and functionality, is it's a nice way to quickly communicate with your client, especially if you're on a texting basis with clients. You plug in an address or you have a search, you find some properties that you think they might be interested in, and you text them. All right. And then that way, you know how it is with emails. Sometimes emails can get lost a little bit, or they take a long time for people to see them or for them to get back to you. And especially in this market where things are moving fast still, it might be nice to just be able to text them right away. And in a text, for the most part, they're going to see that right away and maybe be able to respond to you. So that is Home Snap. Okay. Home Visit. I'm not going to click on any of these anymore. I don't know what's going on with my computer, but it's not letting me access some of these. So you can certainly go in. The ones, I'll just point out the fact that Home Visit is not something that is like including your membership. This is basically a way to make postcards. New construction homes here is a way to search for just what it sounds like, new construction. This is through New Home Source Professional. Like, for instance, sometimes, let's say there's a developer like a Pulte Homes or a Ryan Homes who is developing land, like a subdivision or a development, but it hasn't started yet. You might be able to find those new construction homes in here. So maybe they're not listed in the MLS even yet. Maybe there's no ground that's been broken. And you have clients who maybe you think, or they think they want a new build, or this is a route they want to go, or an option. This is a nice way. Let me see if this will load for me. This is a nice way for sorry, I'm seriously not understanding what's going on with my computer. This is a nice way for you to be able to find those listings or those properties. It would really be nice if I could just get there, but that's okay. We move on. Okay. Realtor professional search. This is really just realtor.com. Property Panorama. That's our virtual tour company we've partnered with. So when you upload a listing and you upload at least 3 photos for a listing, it automatically creates a virtual tour. And when you think of a virtual tour, it's not like the Matterport ones that are, really nice and you click around in there and you can virtually tour the house inside. No, this is more of just like a slideshow of the pictures that you've uploaded. However, that is what happens when you upload those photos, and we have partnered with Property Panorama. Let's see what else. Oh, I missed talking about Super, but that's okay. We'll come back to that. Rate plug, RealX. This is an oil and mineral rights search database. Rental base, searching for rentals. I don't want to spend too much time on here. I think you get the most part. This Real Safe Agent, I believe, is going away soon. So yeah. Okay. So what we want to do now is I actually want to launch into the database here. Okay. So I'm going to click on this top left icon, CoreLogic Matrix, and I want to just actually go into the database. I wonder if it's my Chrome. I may switch over to a different browser here. I'm not sure what is going on with my computer. I may even have to switch computers. You guys can still hear me though? So you can hear me, but nothing's, that is so strange. My computer has completely, it's like I have a bug or something. Uh, wow. I have never experienced that before. I do apologize. You know what I'm gonna do? I think I'm gonna have to switch computers. Okay, everybody, sit tight for a second. What I'm going to do is switch computers and fire the class back up. So hang tight for a couple minutes. Give me about 2 or 3 minutes. And then if you don't automatically return to the class, click on whatever link that you were on to get into the class, and you should pop back up. But give me a few minutes. I'm gonna see if I can switch computers here. I'm not sure what's wrong with this one, so bear with me for two minutes. Okay, let's go back. Okay, can everybody hear and see me again? Are we back up and running? Yes, okay. I am really sorry about that. I've never seen that happen before. I don't know what that was, but it my other computer, it was almost like I got hacked or something. It would not access any sites. Okay. So let's get back to where we were. So I was just clicking on the CoreLogic matrix icon here to be taken into the MLS. And I'm on my handy dandy Mac now, so we should be good. Okay. So this is the MLS. This is what you see when you first log in. The first thing that I just want to talk about is all of our widgets down here. Now, when you log in, you probably see a bunch of news and alerts that pop up. So that's what these are here, this little news and alert section. If you click I've read this, they will go away. If you click read later, they'll pop up, every time that you log in. So that's up to you how you want to handle that. They after you click I've read this, they will stay here in this news and alerts section. You have other widgets in here. That's, one of them is status and information. There's an eProperty Watch one. There's a My Cards, which we'll talk about. And the one thing that you want to keep in mind here is all of these widgets are customizable. So you can see when I hover over the top of them, I get this little arrow pointing each direction icon, right? And so I can click, hold, and drag these around. I can move this over here. I can drag it and move it pretty much anywhere I want to. The only one that stays static is this news and alerts one. Okay. Sometimes you guys will also accidentally close a widget down. So for instance, there's the Market Watch widget right here. And I know a lot of people use this, but you can see I have a little arrow to minimize it or collapse it. And I also have an X to get rid of it. All right. So if your Market Watch looks like that, where you see the banner, but you don't see any data, you probably need to expand it by clicking this arrow. And if you don't see your Market Watch panel anywhere, that could be because you hit the X button and you closed it. If you do that, don't panic. It didn't go away forever. Just find this additional panel, this additional widget, and it's going to be under here somewhere. Maybe you need to expand this. There it is. And then what I do is just hover over the banner, click, hold, and drag it back onto my main screen, like so. Okay. So that's all these widgets for the most part are customizable in terms of moving them around or minimizing or closing them. Okay. Let's talk about what some of these widgets are. We talked about news and alerts. This status information one is just very basic, telling you, every status you'll see in the MLS, what it is, what does it mean. That's a nice little friendly reminder for you. My Cards, when you search through listings, you're able to throw listings into a cart. Maybe you want to throw them into a cart for yourself. Maybe you want to throw them into a cart for a client, whatever the case may be. But almost like you're shopping on Amazon, you find some items you want, you throw them into your cart, and they're going to stay there until you check out. Same thing here. You find some listings you like, you throw them into a cart, and they're going to stay there. The nice thing about using this cart section is once you throw a listing into a cart, they don't go anywhere. They're going to stay in this cart forever until you delete them. So even if they get changed to a different status, like let's say they go from active to sold, they're going to stay in this cart. All right. What else? Let's talk about, favorite searches. If you have any favorite searches set up, they'll show up here. This might be, maybe this is a way like, let's say you've set up a couple searches for yourself, you've saved them, and I'll show you how to do this. Then you can favorite a couple of those so that they show up on your home screen as favorite searches. So for instance, you'll see now on mine, under my matrix tab up top here, when I hover over this tab, I get a drop-down menu. If I go to save searches, I have a couple of saved searches in here. And what I can do is I can say under settings, enable as a favorite search. See here, enable as a favorite search. Okay, and save. And then back on my home screen now, under my favorite searches, here's that search that I favorited. Okay. So again, maybe you have a search that you like to come to. Maybe you have investors, or maybe you yourself have some investment properties, or you have searches that you're looking for. You set up a search for yourself that you're going to come back to time and time again. Just make it a favorite, and then you can easily click on it here from your home screen, right? Hot sheets, yours probably look a little different. I've changed mine around a little bit, but you probably have like residential, commercial hot sheets in here. Hot sheets are basically just searches that you can click on and have them show you the newest results. So you can set time frames. So for instance, if I click on this incoming, all right, my criteria for this is I'm saying, hey, show me properties that here the current price is above 350,000, they're active, and they're within this map area that I drew around this address. Okay. And it's showing me those listings within the last 24 hours. Now, if I wanted to change my time frame, let's say I wanted to show me those, I have my criteria set up. I wanted to show me those listings only that are new. Then I would click new only as my time frame. And now when I click incoming, it's showing me only the new ones. I can change my time frame, make it longer. I can say, show me those listings in the last 7 days that meet my criteria. And I've got 30 of them. Okay. So this is basically a search created with a custom time frame around it, right? That's what a hot sheet is. You can always customize your hot sheets very easily. If I were to click the customize button, and here's where you can see I've deleted all those ones that you have as your defaults. But if I wanted to, let's say, rename this or delete this one or add a totally new search hot sheet, or I want to edit the criteria for this current one, this is where I can do that at. Okay. So that's hot sheets. We'll talk about One Home later. One Home is the client portal. So when you send a client a listing, they are going to receive that listing in what's called our One Home client portal. Okay. And as clients visit your One Home portal, it will show you, who the visitors were. If you have any listings, they're going to show up here on the left-hand side. Also, your office's listings or your company's listings will show up here as well. You probably have a button down below this if you have any listings that says My Hit Counters or Hit Counters. And what that is a way to see who has looked at your listings. Okay. So if you click on that Hit Counters, if you have any listings, you can see, okay, my listing has been sent to, X number of clients. It's in this many portals and this many people have favorited it. And if I click reverse prospecting, it gives you a chance to communicate with the agent of those clients, right? You're never going to see the client's information themselves because that's obviously another agent's client, but you can reach out to the agent themselves and say, hey, I see you have a client who liked my property. Let's, set up a showing or however you want to handle that. And then the last, oh no, there's more tabs. Sorry. The next tab I want to talk about is Market Watch. So this is very similar to a hot sheet. You can click customize, you set up what you want your Market Watch to show you. The difference between this and a hot sheet is, you only get one. It's one market. What do you want to see as your market snapshot? Maybe you just want to see all of Cleveland. You don't care about what price point or whatever. You just want to see what's going on in Cleveland or what's going on in Solon or Independence, right? You can pick a city or a county or a zip, and that's your market. Well, when you create that, right? When you create that Market Watch, then it's going to show you, like mine is showing me houses that are above 333,000. It looks like I have a map search area set up and more than 2,300 square feet. And so that's what my Market Watch is showing me. It's showing me I have 24 new listings that might meet that criteria. 14 went under contract, allowing showings, 2 back on the market, 4 had a price decrease, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This is a nice way, to quickly show. Let me go to customize for a second. I'll just show you something. So let me clear this. Let's just say I want to kind of get a picture of what's going on in Cuyahoga County. So I have no criteria selected besides Cuyahoga County, right? That's all I want to see. Just show me what's going on in Cuyahoga County. And I click save. So now my Market Watch is saying in the last 7 days, see my time frame is 7 days, in Cuyahoga County, no other criteria selected, just Cuyahoga County, there have been 205 residential listings that have hit the market in the MLS. 171 that have gone under contract, 68 back on market. This is kind of interesting. 77 have had a price decrease and only 17 have had a price increase. 318 have been sold, etc. I can change my time frame. Like, let's say I only want to see things that were today in Cuyahoga County. 34 listings in Cuyahoga County are new, 19 under contract, 5 price decreases. All right. So you can basically set up and have yourself see a snapshot of what's going on in whatever market in quotation marks you set up there. All right. There's also a little search widget here where you can quickly search for an address or a city or a zip. This is nice if you have a buyer who calls you and says, hey, I just drove by, I don't know, Washington Boulevard. All right. So I'll just type in Washington here. I didn't see what the address was. I was driving too fast. I'm late for work. My kids were screaming, whatever. And I couldn't see the address, but I do know it was on Washington and I know it was for sale. Can you tell me anything? Well, that's not a lot of information to go on, is it? Well, you could come in here, you could type Washington for your street name. You click search and it's going to show us all of the listings that have ever been on Washington, sorted, of course, by status area price. So you can see it's probably one of these here. They said they were in, I don't know, they said they were in Lorraine. Well, here's the listing. Maybe this is the one they were talking about. All right. Right cloud, go back. So that's how you use that search widget. Okay. Now the last widget that I want to talk about here is just this external links widget. This is where you can see your information. If you need to change any of this, clicking anywhere in the yellow here will take you to a screen that allows you to edit your information, phone number, email address, etc. You can add a photo for yourself. We have our rules and regs book if you're very bored. We have all of our input sheets. For those of you that don't have input listing, if you need to have somebody input a listing for you, our input sheets are here. If I click on this, it's going to take me to our input sheet. All of the red fields are required. You probably have seen these laying around your office. Maybe you have these saved somewhere. But if you need to fill one of these out, you can fill this out and submit it to whoever enters that listing for you. Or if you have your own listing input access, maybe you fill this out and give it to your seller and have them fill out the required fields as much as they can and then turn it back into you to complete, or however you want to handle that. But our input sheets are all here under the external links tab. We have an Ohio license lookup. And then what you'll notice the rest of these are all of our member service icons that we talked about on that home dashboard when we first logged in. It's the same exact thing. We got Home Snap, eProperty Watch, Dot Loop, etc. All right. Okay. Any questions on this home screen about these widgets at all? The Market Watch, the hot sheets, the saved searches, favorite searches. Anything anybody wants to see or talk about before we move on? Okay. In that case, let's continue. The next thing I want to talk about is the widgets that are, I'm sorry, the tabs that go across the top of your screen here, right? So we have, let me zoom out a little bit because they're jammed in there. We have My Matrix, Search, Stats, Realist Tax, etc. Let's talk about these for a second. Hovering over the My Matrix tab, you see what options you get for this dropdown. You can access your carts in here. So if you've added any listings to carts, you can get there like that. This is where the contact section is where you can manage your contacts. So if I go in there, here's all my contacts. If I need to add one, I can do so here in the top right. I can see how many auto emails I have running for a client or contact. I can see how many saved searches I have for them. I can see how many listings I have in a cart for them. I can see how many favorites they've favorited in their One Home portal. All right. If I need to click on a client here to the left, I can see what their email address is. If I need to edit anything there, there's an edit button where I can edit their name, email address, any of their contact information. So that's My Matrix contacts. My Matrix carts we already talked about. Here's all of my carts I have. My Matrix My Listings. This is a way to quickly access your listings.
My Matrix sent emails. This can be useful to determine if the system sent an email for you. You know, sometimes you're saying, hey, I set up an auto email, but the client's not getting the emails. Well, let's check and see if, you know, the system actually sent them. It'll tell us exactly when they sent them, exactly what time, and what the contents of those sent emails were. So there's no guessing. Okay. My Matrix send emails. If you have any auto emails set up under My Matrix auto emails, they will show up here. Okay. My Matrix auto emails will show up here. You can click on your auto email. You can customize it, edit the criteria, view it in one home, delete it, disable it. You know, you have lots of different options inside of this one home tab here, or auto email tab. Any saved searches. If you've done any CMAs, they're going to show up here under My CMAs. So let's say you've done some comps, comparative market analysis for one of your seller's properties, or you know, maybe just a property on your own for some reason. If you've gone through the whole full CMA wizard and you've created a CMA, they're going to show up here. Okay. And I'll show you how to run one of those and save it in a second. And then you've got My Matrix home visit, which is what I was telling you before, was a way to, you know, create postcards. There's a lot that you can do here. Direct mail, state-of-the-art brochures, flyers, etc. So that's home visit. Okay. Next, we have our search panel. Now, I'm not going to do anything in here yet because I'm going to spend a little bit of time in here in a second. But essentially, this is where you can, you know, run a residential search. So here's our 5 property types for those that are not aware. We have residential search. That's a residential property type. That means single family and condos. We have rentals. We have multifamily, we have land, and we have commercial. Those are our 5 property types: commercial, land, multifamily, rental, residential. Now, residential, multifamily, and land are required. What do I mean by that? Basically, that means if any agent that's a member of ours takes a listing that falls in our jurisdiction, then it has to go in the MLS. If it's residential, multifamily, or land. If it's commercial or rental, it doesn't have to go in the MLS. You can put it in the MLS, but it's not required to go in. Okay. So you can run a search for these individually, or I can do a cross property search. That means I'm looking across all the different property types. I want to see maybe, you know, I don't care. I want to search for residential and rental and multifamily and land or commercial, right? Okay. You can search for agents by office. You can search for offices. You can search for open houses. So if I just go to search open house right now, I want to say, hey, what open houses are going to be this weekend? April 2nd. Okay. Just show me all of them that are scheduled right now. We have 29 open houses this Saturday in the MLS, and here they are. Okay. So that's search open house. And then we have search public record. Search public record is our realist tax program. It's the same thing. It looks different, but it's the same exact thing. It's a tax data aggregation search. So you can look for any property that's in our jurisdiction here and pull that tax record data from the auditor sites. Okay. So that's what search public record is. Same thing as realist tax. It just looks different in terms of how you search for things. Also, some of the things you can do there are a little different. We offer tax classes where we dive into this a little deeper, not exactly appropriate for an intro class. But if you wanted to get a little more familiar with the tax program, I would say take one of those classes. Okay. And actually, while we're talking about these tabs here, if you look off to the right, there is a help tab. See this help tab here? We have a lot of different resources to talk about or to help you with things you may want to learn. You know, how to run an auto email, or how, you know, let's say you wanted to watch one of those realist tax webinars. There's a section here called MLS Now webinar videos. And you can see realist. We've done a number of these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 webinars on Realist. One of them is 2 hours long. The rest of these are probably an hour. So I would just click that link and it would take me to the YouTube video to watch that Realist class if you wanted to learn. Okay, so that's under the help tab. Under the help tab. What else do we have? Our tabs, we're working on our tabs across the top here. We've got our stats tab. This is a nice way to, let's say you wanted to pull some different stats for yourself for some reason. I don't know. Let's say you were curious what the sale price average was in Cuyahoga County. So I'm going to click on sale price average. I'm going to go to Cuyahoga. Oops. And I'm going to say generate that report. So here's the sale price average. I don't love this chart format. I can see that it's steadily going up, higher highs and higher lows. But let's see that in a data form. Okay. So here's our sale price average. In January of 2012, the average sale price of a house in Cuyahoga County was 106. Here today in 2022, it's $100,000 more in 10 years. Okay. So you can customize this. You can say, I don't want to know the last 10 years. So you can change your time frame. You can say, I just want to see, let's say the last, let's do a custom time range. I want to see the last 3 years from January 2019 to December 2022 and generate. And there we go. I can export that data to an Excel spreadsheet and I can see very clearly, you know, the sale price average every year has increased, which you all already know, I'm sure. What other stats can we pull here? We can see what the sale price to list price ratios were for Cuyahoga County. It's an interesting one. So, you know, in 2017, we were getting, and you can also change this to be grouped by, instead of grouped by month, see how it's grouped by month? I can say group this by year and then generate that. So in 2017, the close price, people were getting 97.6% of their close price to their list price. In 2018, that was 98%. And then the last few years, it's been 100%. Probably because people were getting over that asking price for a while now. Okay. So that's our stats tab. You can play with that as you want. This Realist Tax tab, we've already talked about this before. If I click this, it's going to take me into the Realist Tax program. You've seen this. We talked about this beginning of class. This is the exact same thing as this Realist button here on our dashboard. It launches the same Realist Tax program. Okay. So that's the Realist Tax tab. Finance has some interesting tools in here. You can do like an amortization schedule. You can see seller's estimated net proceeds. There's different things in here, different financial calculators. I'm not going to spend a lot of time in here. Just know that these are available too if you want to use them under finance. Okay. I do want to talk about links for a second. If you go to the links tab, links is going to be your friend for anything you need to send to the MLS. So for instance, if you have a form you need to send us, like a correction form, let's say you make a mistake and you need it corrected, you'll send us a correction form and you get that from this links tab. If you have a seller opt-out, you have a seller who's decided they do not want to list their property in the MLS, even though they want you to sell it. That's called a seller opt-out or an office exclusive. The form for that is right here. Okay. Status change tabs are in here and input sheets. If any of you are going to enter your own listings and you need your office to authorize that, we have what's called an input authorization form. All right. Input authorization form right here. You have your office fill this out and submit it to the email address that you see at the bottom of the form. All right. So again, anything you need to send us in terms of paperwork is probably here under this links tab. Links is your friend for that. What else do I want to see here? That's about it. Oh, It definitely is a good idea if you have not done so yet to do the Super E-Key sign up link here. So as part of your membership, depending on where you are, but probably I think you guys are all okay. Yeah, you have a Super E-Key that you have access to as part of your membership. So if you click that, this is how you can request an E-Key. It automatically has your information filled out. Give yourself a PIN. 7777, click submit. It's going to take you to an electronic signature page. And then from that point, you'll be emailed an authorization code. Okay. And when you plug that authorization code into the app, that will activate your E-Key account. So if you have to go look at a property and the listing agent has an E-Key on there and you need access to open that box, you're going to want to use your Super E-Key to do so. And if you haven't signed up for your Super E-Key access yet, this is how you'll do that. You go to the links tab and go to Super E-Key sign up to request your E-Key. The market reports tab is just what it sounds like. We have some market reports. Now, you might not see these top ones here. That's because I'm logged in as staff. You have to have a certain level of access to see those. You're like a head office admin. But you should see an agent production inventory and probably an office production inventory. And so this is a way for you to see and run some reports that show, what your production was this year and last year. Okay. The input tab is just what it sounds like. If I need to enter a listing, this is where I do it at. Input, add new listing, and I choose my property type and I move forward. There is an entire listing input class that you must take in order to do this, and it will walk you through. We'll go deeper into this input tab and walk through the listing input process. Right now, if you click add new and it says you don't have authorization to enter a listing, that's because you have not either passed the test or had your office give you permission by signing that input authorization form that we talked about. You have to have both of those done before you can enter listings. We talked about the help tab already here. And then last but not least, you do have access through Intramatrix to the Dayton and Norris MLSs. So I can click on this Dayton MLS, and now I'm inside of their database and I can run some searches for Dayton if I want to. Okay. MLS Now is us to go back. Okay. I feel like we just covered a lot. And I don't want to move too fast. Does anybody have anything that we covered so far? Does anybody have anything that they want to see again or ask a question before we move on? We still have some more to cover here, but I want to give anybody who has a question a chance to ask it, because we're flying and I'm doing most of the talking. Is there anything that, before we just keep flying through here, is there anything that anybody wants to see in terms of like what the system is capable of doing or has a specific use case or question? There's just a lot to the system. I know it can be overwhelming at times. It's one of those things where the more you use it, the better you'll get at it, the easier it'll be, the more useful you can, the more use you can get out of it. Okay. Good, Patrick. Okay, Venus, good. Yeah. Okay, so with that being said, then let's continue on. What I want to do is basically now we just want to talk about how to run a good search and then what to do with the search results, all of your options afterwards. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into search, and I'm just going to choose residential. So I'm in search residential. Now, right off the bat, my search probably looks different than yours. For instance, you'll notice that my statuses to the left here are not checked at all. Yours already probably are defaulted as active, under contract, and under contract no showings. The reason that mine are not is because what I did is I came in here, I wanted a blank slate. So I clicked clear at the bottom, clear down here at the bottom. And then in the top right corner underneath the results right here, I said, make that my current selected search as my default, as my starting default. So I just told the system, hey, every time I run a residential search, I want it to be blank, clear. I don't want any criteria selected. And why did I do that? Because sometimes when you run a search, you forget that you have something checked somewhere and it can interfere with your search. All right. So the way that the database works is when you have nothing selected, like right now I have clear. So there's not one single criteria selected. It's going to include everything. It starts with the widest possible net, and then it drills down based on your selections. So you can see in the bottom left, I have 10,000 plus matches. And why do I have so many matches? Because it's showing me every listing that's ever been in the MLS ever, because I haven't selected any criteria. The second that I say, okay, just show me active listings. Now it's showing me only active listings. There's 3,747 of them in the system. I'm not going to see any under contract or any sold, etc. Okay. However, it is showing me active listings everywhere. So it's going to show me all the active listings, regardless of what county they're in or what style they are or what price range, because I have not yet drilled down on those categories. All right. If I were to say, show me only those that are withdrawn or expired, I would check those two boxes. Now it's showing me withdrawn or expired listings. There's 5,891 matches in the MLS of withdrawn or expired. Notice now when I check withdrawn or expired, it automatically selected a date range. It gave me the last 6 months. It's saying only showed me those within the 0 to 180 days ago. So that's 6 months. If I think that's too long of a time frame, I can just come in here and change it. I say, actually, only show me those in the last 30 days, 0-30. Okay, and there's 977. Remember, it's casting the widest possible net until I drill down. So what if I only wanted to see those that are withdrawn or expired in, let's say, Cleveland? Now I have to type in Cleveland for my city. Did I spell that wrong? Yeah, I'm good. So now show me withdrawn or expired last 30 days, Cleveland. There's 102 in our database. It could be any price range, any number of bedrooms, any number of acres, et cetera, because I have not told the system what to look for those things. All I told the system is I want withdrawn, expired, last 30 days, city of Cleveland. That's it. That's all I want to see. Okay. Let's go to a more practical case. I'm going to click clear at the bottom left. Let's say I have a buyer, so they only want to see active because they're looking for things that are on the market. Maybe I also want to include those that are under contract, but allowing showings because they're still on the market. They're allowing showings, right? And I only want to see those two things. And I'm interested in living, in Cuyahoga County and maybe Lake County. So I have a couple different options to add additional counties. I can either type them in like I did here, Cuyahoga, space Lake, or I can click this little lookup table here. See this little 3D lookup box? I can come in here and it will say what my current selections are. So let's remove those and show you how to add them in here. So if there was nothing there and I wanted to add Cuyahoga and Lake, I could either scroll through this list and find those, or I could type them up here, start typing and click and add. There's Cuyahoga. Let's add Lake as well. And click and add. And I have to click OK. And then there are my two counties. Okay. I didn't tell it what style I was looking for. So if my buyer says they need a ranch, I have to choose ranch in here. Okay. Now it'll drill down just on ranches. Okay. If they're okay with, ranch or a split level, I can choose ranch and split level. How do I select two styles? Well, I have to hold control down and click, or Command if I'm on a Mac, which I am. So now you can see how it selected both of them, ranch and split level. If you don't hold Control down or Command on a Mac and you click another style, it will release the other two. Like watch, I'm going to click Townhouse without holding Control or Command, and it lets go of ranch and split level. Okay. I know it doesn't look like it, but it did. So if I want to add additional ones, I have to hold Control or Command, and then anyone I click on it will get added to it. Otherwise, and to deselect them, I hold Control and Command and click on them. Okay, that's how you deselect them. When it's all white like that, that means there's no style selected. All right, when it's all white like this, there's no style selected. Ranch is highlighted for some reason, but not selected. It's being a little silly. Okay, so I've got active and under contract in Cuyahoga and Lake County. I haven't told it a style. I can choose my price range now. Like let's say they need to stay under 350,000. So I could say 350 minus. That means $350,000 or less. There's a little lookup table. If I click the question mark, it will show me, okay, here's an example of our search terms. If I'm looking for an exact price, I enter just the number exactly. If I'm looking for a range, like my range is, 225 to 275, or in this example, 100 to 150, I enter 100-150 for the range. And then if they need something that's greater than 100,000, they enter 100 plus, or less than 100,000 is 100 minus. So we said we need something that's less than 350,000. So that's our max. So we're going to do 350 minus. You can enter the number of bedrooms. Like let's say you need, 2 to 4 bedrooms, or 2 to 3, or at least 3. So you could say 3 plus. There's a square footage field you can enter. Like let's say they need at least 2,500 square feet. You can do 2,500 plus. And you can see every selection that we add, it updates in real time at the bottom. We're down to 29 matches. If there's specific things that they want, like basement, they want a full finished basement, right? I can click on finished and full. If there's certain features that they are asking for, whether that's an exterior type or heating or water, those options are in here. Okay. There's a section here that talks about broker or public remarks. This is a very useful tool. It's a way to search within the agent and the broker remarks. And so what that means is, when a listing agent enters a listing, they enter remarks with that listing. It talks about the property. If I want to search inside of those remarks for specific words or key phrases, like you can see here, we have move in ready. I'm going to do asterisk, move dash in asterisk. And that's telling the system, show me those listings where it says, we're move-in ready. Or maybe you're looking for properties that have tenants. You can enter that phrase. So a comma, space, asterisk, tenant, asterisk. And so what you'll see here, look, it has one match. Let's go look at this one just to show you. So in the broker and public remarks, excuse me, we have the word tenant somewhere. Right here, it says tenant is month to month. The word tenant is in the broker remarks. So a very useful search option. I'm going to go back to criteria for a second. If you wanted to search for, maybe they typed in, there's an in-law suite, you would just type in dash law, So that's how you use that broker and public remarks section. And then down below that, there are additional fields you can add if you want to. Things like what the list type was, disability features, yes, no. What's the occupant type, the financing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. If you click this little add remove button, you can see all the different fields we have that you can search by. So if you wanted to add one, you click it and click add, and then go back, and it's going to show up down here at the bottom. Is there a homeowners association fee? Yes or no? All right. What's the price per square foot? There's a lot of different things you can add to search by. Okay, so we set up a good search. Now what do we do? Let me show you how to send these to a client. All right. So I'm going to click on results. We have our one listing. Maybe you run a search where you have more than that. That's fine. But we're just going to show how to do this one. What can I do? I want to email this to my client. So I click on the listing. I'm going to click the email button. I have to type their email address in here. If it's a contact of ours already, they will pop up. If it's not a contact, they won't pop up. You'll just have to type in their full email address. Okay. And do you want to be BCC to copy? Yes or no? And then you give it a subject. This is a test for intro class. And then type in your message. Here are some homes you might like, right? Whatever you want to say. And then you click send at the bottom. So you check your listing and you click email and you send it to your client. Now, what your client sees is this. When you send them a listing, your client gets an email and they can click on the property or click view properties and they see this. This is the One Home client portal. When you send a listing to a client, this is what they see. They see the listings on the left and the map on the right. They can see the price, the address, some property details, and then click on that listing and get more details about that property and scroll through the photos. So when you hear us talk about One Home or your client talk about One Home, that's what this is. This is the client portal. One Home is the client portal. It's how they view listings you send them through the MLS. Okay. I'm going to go back to that search I just ran. If I somehow get lost or I closed out or your computer bugs out like mine did, you don't have to start from scratch. You can just go to your recent searches up here in the top right corner and choose recent searches. So recent searches, and here's that last search I did. When you click on a listing, let me go back to my single line display. So here's the single line display. And when I click on that listing, you can see all the property details that show up, you know, a map, the area that it's in. Remember the schedule a showing button? If I wanted to schedule a showing, I click that schedule a showing button and schedule a single showing, pick my time, and it will schedule your showing through showing time. We talked about that before. Going to show us all of the property details, the taxes, features, the public remarks, who the list agent is, an office, the broker remarks, the compensation. Obviously, that's important. We have a tax tab. It shows us the tax data for this property. We have a photos tab. We have a history tab, which shows us the listing history. If this property had ever been listed in the MLS before, it's going to show up. This one has been listed a number of times. Here's all the MLS numbers that you can click on and look through. And then a parcel map and a flood map. All right. So if I wanted to go back and adjust my criteria for this search, I would click on just the criteria tab. So you can always toggle between these three tabs: criteria, map, results. Criteria, map, which just shows us a map with a pin of that listing, and results. I can look at that property. So you can always toggle between these three: criteria, change your criteria, map, results. Criteria, map, results. Let's say I didn't have a square footage minimum anymore. Let's take that out. I now have 117 matches. And if I go to results, I'm going to get a single line display of those 117. Up in the top right corner, I can change how many I want to view on one page. Let's say I want to see up to 300. There's all my listings. I could check all of these and email them. I could just check a few of them and email them. I could go to the map and look at these listings on the map. Here's where all the pins are. And if I find a few that I know we want to go look at this weekend and schedule some showings, what I could do is I could check a few, go to showing time, schedule those showings. And then in my red banner of options, there's even a little red directions button down here. So I click on directions and it's going to show me and create a route for me. I can add a start and a stop. and I can email or print that. If I wanted to add some of these listings to a cart, remember, I can just click on carts at the bottom here and then add it to a cart, or create a new cart if I need to and add it to a cart. Okay. Very, very good. Oh, I do need to show you on the map. If I wanted to, let's go back to criteria and clear out my county here. If I wanted to draw on the map a very specific area to search in, so I didn't want to search by a county or a city. I actually wanted to like draw my own area. We have drawing tools on the map. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit. See these drawing tools up top here? There's a radius tool. There's a freehand polygon. So let's say I wanted to draw a very specific area. I click this draw freehand polygon, click, hold, and drag, and you can see it's freehand. I can draw an exact shape. And now it's only going to show me listings in that shape that I drew. And I can draw multiple shapes. Let's use a radius tool this time, click, hold, and drag. And now it's going to show me listings in both shapes. So that's very useful if you have a client or somebody who says, hey, I'm looking for listings that are only in this very specific area. Like maybe it's like north of a highway, south of a different highway, east of route, whatever, and west of, Pepper Tree Lane. So you could use that freehand polygon and draw that exact shape that fits what they asked for and get listings only in those that shaded area. And I go to my results, and there you go. Now, if I wanted to turn this search into an auto email where my client is automatically emailed every time a listing that meets that criteria is entered or there's a status change, down at the bottom here, you have a save button and you can choose new auto email. It's going to ask you to assign it to a contact, give it a subject title, how often you want it to go out, and then click save to create that auto email. Okay. A lot more we just covered there. Any questions now so far? I don't want to leave anybody behind or feel like I went too fast or didn't answer any questions. Only have a few more things to show you. Okay. Everyone feels good, setting up a search, emailing those properties, saving an auto email. Yes. Okay, good. Good. Okay. All right. Well then, let's show you a couple of things here before we close. Number one, up in the top right corner, when you click your name, there's a settings option. Okay, so you click on your name and go to settings. I want to show you a couple things in here. Number one, there's a My Information panel. If I click that, any information that you need to adjust in here for your email signature is here. Your header and footer for your printouts. So if you were to run a quick CMA or some type of report in the MLS, this will be the standard header and footer. This is all customizable. You can have no photo or choose a custom photo from your computer. You can select a different banner image from some of our stock options here. You can adjust what information shows in that banner. Okay, that's all here under header and footer. Inside of one home, your client can see a picture of you or no photo, which will just be your initials. You can change what other information displays inside of one home. Okay. A greeting if you want, links to YouTube videos or web pages. All right, so that's all under my under settings, my information. The next one that's in here is team settings. If you have somebody that works on a team with you, maybe you have a UPA, an unlicensed personal assistant or something like that, you can come in here, or you have another agent that you want to be able to allow to work as you. You can come in here as team settings and add somebody as a team member. All right. When you do that, they have the ability to switch to you, to work as you. And what that looks like is this. You see my drop down? I can switch to Laura Graber and to Team MLS now. That means that these two individuals or teams have set me up as a team member that lets me work as them. And when I click that, it switches over and says, hey, I'm now working as Laura Graber. If I want to go back to myself, I need to switch to Team DJ. Okay. So if you want to work on a team or vice versa, have somebody work as part of your team, get in there, go ahead and in there and give them access by adding them as a team member. If you want to see what your clients are doing in one home, like when they visited or when they've saved favorites, then you want to go to portal notification settings. Portal notification settings. And say, hey, notify me right away by way of email or text whenever they visit their portal or save a favorite or add a note. Okay. And if you want to be texted, you have to add your cell phone information down here where it says click here to edit your cellular information. Okay. The very last thing here I'll show you is under my matrix and contacts. If you do have auto email set up and save searches and things like that, when you click on that contact's name, you're going to be able to see what they've done inside of One Home, what properties they've favorited, what notes they've taken, if they've gone through the planner, the buying and selling planners, and obviously, as we talked about before, editing their information. Okay. All right. That was a lot of information. I'm whooped. I don't know about you guys. But hopefully that was helpful. What I will tell you is if you need anything ever, email us. See the email help email address up here. And our phone number. We're here 8:30 to 5. Give us a call. We are here to help. Any question you have about anything MLS related, don't hesitate to call us. You'll get one of us, or if not, leave a message and we'll call you right back. And yeah, like I said, we're here to help. We are a membership service. You are our members. We are here to give you what you need. Don't hesitate to call. And good luck to you. I'm going to hang out for a little while here in case somebody has a question or wants to see something. I'll be happy to show them. But if not, good luck to you, and we'll get your account updated that you passed the intro class. And yeah, you are very welcome. I'm glad it was helpful, Carly. Thank you, Taylor. Thank you, Venus. Yeah. Here, Taylor, let me see if I can. You're currently muted, but if you unmute yourself, I can hear you, or you can just type it in the chat.
Can you hear me?
1 second. My volume is very low. Hold on. Let me adjust that. Okay, go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, so when you went over the thing that you had to do to put like a listing on the MLS site, and you had to have that little class that you took, can you not put any listings on the MLS site until you take that class specifically?
Correct. So if you want to enter your own listings, it's two things. You have to send us a listing input authorization form. So that's under the links tab. Okay, under links here. And then it's this form here, input authorization form. That's your office giving you permission. And then, so that's one thing that we need. The second thing that we need is the input training. So you can either take a webinar like you did for this, or you can do a distance option where we email you the distance learning quiz, or you watch a video and take a quiz, and that satisfies your training that way. So you have options, but yes, you have to take training for it.
That would be amazing. Okay, so would I have to email saying, shh, I'm sorry, my dog. Would I have to email saying like, hey, I do want to do this class. If you could just send me the link,
If you want to do the distance one, I can send that to you right now.
that would be amazing.
Okay. Listing input video. Taylor@yahoo.com.
Yep.
Okay, that is sent.
Thank you so much. That is all I had.
Okay, well, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Yes, I will do so right now. And done.